He says, when you do not find peace and harmony, you attribute the cause of your discontent to the world. You believe the world needs correction. From time immemorial, human efforts have been directed to setting right the world, but so far these efforts have met with little success. You do not realize that the solution lies in improving not the world but yourself. You can find peace and harmony just by purifying your inner personality. When you purify your mind, you find the world purified. This is the law. The world is but a reflection of your mind. If your mind is good, the world is good. If your mind is bad, the world is bad. Therefore, change the pattern of thought and feeling in your mind. The entire world changes. So this is essentially saying what we were talking about before. The tendency is to blame the world, and then we think the world needs to be fixed. My partner doesn't function the way that I want him or her to, so I tell him or her, you're doing something wrong. Rather than looking within to the cause of agitation. Now again, that doesn't mean that we let the world do whatever it likes. If my partner is going to the casino once a week and blowing the rent money, or if she's, let's go back to the example of addiction, she's getting into an addiction. I don't simply sit back and say, well, the world will be what it is. I can just let anything change. Let it be however it wants to be. Of course not. There will be times where you have to step in and make changes to the external environment. Call the people out that you're in relationships with. Tell them what they're doing wrong. There will be times, right? There'll also be times where you should not do that. But the point is that you don't do that to make yourself feel better. You're doing that because it's your obligation to the world. Now, you see a piece of glass on the beach. You pick it up and throw it in the trash. Not to make yourself feel better, because you understand if there's glass on the beach, you pick it up and throw it away. It's a simple understanding of our obligation to correct the world where we can, to improve it. But we don't improve the world with an eye on the result of, now I'll feel better once I've done that. No. If you want to feel better, find the cause of the discontent. You believe the world needs correction. Purify your inner personality. So what are the impurities of the inner personality? Yep, egocentric desire and attachment. These are the impurities. And again, this is not a sort of a moral or an ethical judgment on a person's inner personality. It's a clear understanding of the thing that makes us miserable. Put it this way, the nature of the human body is to be healthy. That's its natural state. It's always moving in that direction. When you cut yourself, when you bruise yourself, when you get sick, the body always moves in the direction of health. That's its natural state. In the same way, the natural state of the human personality is peace, satisfaction, freedom. So anything that limits our peace, our satisfaction, and our freedom is an impurity. So get rid of the impurity. Well, what's the impurity? It's my egocentric attachments and expectations of the world. Once I purify that, there's nothing wrong with the world. So I've used this example before. I was teaching at a spa in the Himalayas. And there was a lady who would come every so often, and she would spend the entire time complaining. And I saw her, every meal she complained about the food. I heard from the staff she was complaining about the room, she was complaining about the spa treatments. Now this is like a 7-star resort, it's beautiful. She views that place as there's things wrong with it. The problem is with the world, that's what she's saying, the problem's with the resort. Her expectations were so intense and so numerous. That's what her world was. Her world was full of imperfections. Go to that place without expectations, it's perfect. Why is it perfect? Because I have no expectations. My partner is perfect when I have no expectations on her. She is exactly what she is, and she doesn't need to be any different. She's in her perfection at that moment because of my lack of expectations. And when she changes, she'll still be perfect. So this is what we're talking about. If that the quote: "The most highly developed organism shows the greatest imperfections." So an organism is always going to have imperfections. The fact that it has imperfections is part of its perfection, if you want to put it that way. So the problem is not the imperfections in nature, the problem is our expectations. Purify those, all of a sudden nature turns perfect. Purify your personality, the world becomes purified. There's a quote by, I've heard attributed to Steve Vai. He says, when you change the way that you look at the thing changes. I heard him say this one. It's a very beautiful quote. That thing changes. So you... Doesn't say the same. I mean, you redeem the world by redeeming yourself.
Everything changes.
So again, go back to the example of, say, a partner. When you view a partner with expectations, and then you eradicate those expectations, the partner, from your perspective, has changed. Even if her qualities are the same, the thing has changed because you're relating to it differently. So we only experience the world as a mode of relating. Our subjective experience is determined by the way that we relate. Change the way that we relate, we change the experience. We change the world.